And I'm Raven Payne. Thank you for joining us. On the 36th day of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, advocates and refugees gathered at the state capitol to educate lawmakers about what life is like for refugees coming to Arizona. We have team coverage tonight. Joey Vaca is in Los Angeles to show us how LA's Ukrainian community is working to gather supplies to send to the war-torn country. But we start with Nick Shesky, who was at the state capitol today as the Ukraine Consul General spoke to Arizona's House and Senate. A letter penned by over 1,000 Arizona healthcare workers has been sent to Governor Doug Ducey, lawmakers, and other health system leaders in our state about the crisis they're seeing because of COVID-19. The decision by the federal court was a surprise for many people when it ruled against the Biden administration's mask mandate for airplanes, trains, and other public transportation. The general feeling around Sky Harbor today was one of relief. The Arizona State Senate passed a bill that mirrors a Mississippi abortion bill that the U.S. Supreme Court is reviewing. This is just one of several different bills currently in the state legislature that would restrict abortion access in Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Madison Thomas speaks to people on both sides of the issue. Cooks here at Chicanas por la Causa cook around 60 to 100 meals per day for around 100 clients. Now, those meals can range from anything from shrimp ceviche, turkey burgers, and even shepherd's pie. Arizona's congressional delegation and members of the Ukrainian community here were swift to react to the news out of Kiev. Faith Abercrombie tells us there is a shared sense of urgency. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the count revealed close to 11,000 people were experiencing homelessness in Arizona in 2020. Based on these numbers, the state was able to receive more than $46 million toward programs like transitional housing just across the way. One Arizona representative is in the spotlight for a different matter. That's Republican Paul Gosar, whose response to a bill pledging support for Ukrainians is now raising concern. Representative Gosar was one of 3 Republican House members to reject a bill that would declare American support for Ukraine and call for a ceasefire to the war. If you like little animals, there's a new cutie that you can find romping around the Phoenix Zoo. Here he is. This is the adorable young rhinoceros the zoo is calling Chuty the Cutie. The counts took place across the valley from the city of Chandler to the city of Phoenix. The last time there was a point-in-time count in 2020, they counted just over 7,400 people experiencing homelessness in Maricopa County. Just based on what we saw this morning, our count volunteer says there were less people out than previous years. Burrowing owls like these usually have a minimum of 60 days before being released from this habitat. But now, that number has changed to less than 30. As the wind blows in Kingman, Arizona, Eddie Patillo is reminded of what traveled with it in the 1950s and what it has cost him.
Serious cancer.
The United States conducted close to 200 nuclear weapons tests from 1945 to 1962. Patillo grew up in Kingman, and the shadow of those tests hung over him throughout his childhood.
I was a lifeguard at Catherine Landing in Bullhead City, and there were a bunch of government people who had Geiger counters and things that came in with swimming after the test went off.
This playground at Palo Christi Elementary School, now closed, is where the late Sharon Patillo said she saw the mushroom cloud from across the hill, over 150 miles away. The kids thought the blast was exciting, but there's so much more to it than that. Those clouds carried radioactive material hundreds of miles to the neighborhoods of Patillo and thousands of others. They're part of the downwinders, people who experienced ill health because they were exposed to the fallout from Nevada nuclear tests.
In 1990, Congress established RECA in order to allow people that lived in the area some compensation.
Currently, residents in 5 Arizona counties are covered by the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, or RECA, but parts of Mojave County, the part that includes Kingman, was left out for reasons Representative Paul Gosar says was not intentional.
That it was an administrative error, and we've tried to correct it every which way but loose.
The Downwinders Parity Act was introduced in late 2021 to fix this error and expand compensation to all of Mojave County, Arizona, and Clark County, Nevada. According to Representative Greg Stanton, this bill is about more than money.
It's about the United States government acknowledging that they did wrong to these families and saying to these families, we see you, we understand the pain that you're going through, we care about you, and we want to make sure that you receive justice.
For Kim Patillo, she just wants help for the dad she loves.
He's just in a lot of pain. I mean, we spent, was it last Sunday, in the ER for 6 hours because he had huge amount of pain.
Eddie Patillo is currently battling colon cancer. He's also survived bladder cancer, both types covered under RICA. But because Patillo lives in Kingman, he has to pay for treatment on his own. According to his family, so far, they've paid $12,000 out of their pockets.
You know, what to do when he goes away, and that's just not a conversation you like to have.
But Patillo isn't dwelling on his illness.
This is a Joshua.
He still finds time for projects around the house.
But I never let the disability of the illnesses slow me down much, I don't think. Except I have to use a cane now.
He's still living his life with the wind at his back. In Kingman, Raven Payne, Cronkite News. You probably recall the chilly temps and rain in the valley throughout much of the day yesterday, but parts of the state even saw snow. Here you're looking at the slopes at Arizona Snow Bowl in Flagstaff. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.